Welcome to Five Lemons Laughing. I'm here with Melissa and Drusilla, Penny, and Morgan. I'm Amanda, starting off 2026. And this isn't a New Year, New You episode. It's a real life one. So instead of resolutions or pressure, we're doing something a bit different today. We're choosing intentions we're actually willing to live. So, in the middle of busy days, imperfect moments, and real relationships, we're thinking about this as a shared experience, not about becoming someone else, but about practicing who we already are on purpose. So, take a pause, settle in, and let's begin.
Thanks, Amanda. That was great. So on our episodes throughout the last few years now, we talk a lot about practice. And so we want to ask ourselves, and you, what do I want to practice this year? Not achieve, not perfect, not push through on, but I'm going to
Mm.
practice this. That's number one. Number two, what usually knocks me off my intention or my direction? And so let's talk about what your reset is. Like, what's going to help you gain your peace back quicker than it ever has before? So, like saying, like my ego will try to pull me into blank. So I will blank. I will breathe. I will pray. I will pick up the phone and call for support. So, number three is taking everything just a little step further. And as you live 2026 in your power, ask yourself, what would courage have me do? And what's that little extra spiritual thing that's been rumbling around inside that you want to say or do or be or live, but you just haven't had the courage to do that yet? So, what is that? Those are the three things we're going to talk about. And so back to Amanda.
Yeah. We decided to do this in alphabetical order to go through these things. So um, I'm going first. Thank you, everybody, for that, putting me on the spot to go first. But it's really not on the spot because I have been thinking about this. Um, so, what I want to practice this year, Melissa did it last year, or was it the year before? Or her theme was acceptance. Acceptance. And that's what I'm going for this year, is fully accepting my humanity, accepting myself. What I'm practicing is not making myself wrong, not judging myself, and allowing that to transition to not judging humanity and accepting all of humanity. I'm going to practice whatever comes up, feeling without judgment. So if something is tweaking me, if somebody else is tweaking me, it's just to allow those feelings and not judge them. Whenever I want to judge myself, because that's what usually knocks me off my intentions, is judging myself as getting it wrong. Like, why would I continue if I've already messed up? So that's kind of what my reset is going to be, is just continually coming back to accepting, radically accepting my humanity. For several years, I haven't really thought about or thought as much about the human experience. It's going through um, spirituality, and for me, that was a step that I needed to take. Is slowly letting go of judging, slowly letting go of tuning into what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, and it felt a little bit outside of humanity. So it feels like a circle to me. So now I'm back to the beginning of what's going on is perfect. what's happening is perfect and allowing that. So when my ego tries to pull me into judgment of myself, I'm going to go back to pausing. I'm going to go back to just allowing whatever it is. It's acceptance. And the practice that I'm going to do is meditation, which I is um I'm doing it now, so it doesn't feel like heavy pressure. Like my ego mind again is judging me. Well, I need to meditate longer. I need to meditate differently. So I can already feel myself striving to be different. So it's so funny to say that out loud because my mind is trying to take me somewhere else already. Um, and what courage would have me do this year is really just accept myself, accept whatever is going on as perfection. Um, so I'm not going to say that I need to, I'm not going to say that I need to do anything. What I'm doing is not doing and allowing.
I love that.
Yeah. Any
Thank you.
questions? Mm-hmm. Anybody got any questions?
You sound pretty darn clear, Amanda.
I do
Yeah, how
sound pretty
did you
clear.
come to that clarity? Tell us about your process of arriving.
Yeah, I was watching a podcast and saw the person on it was Panache Desai, Desai. And it was he wrote a book called You Are Enough.
Mm,
And it is about that. And this was maybe a week ago. And I was like, oh, because I had been like feeling it out, like what I want to for 2026, really setting that intention to give me a place to ground myself over and over again. And it just, his words really were, I was like, this is it. This is so fortuitous to be hearing that. It just seemed right. So I've been enjoying listening to this book.
that
Hmm.
is really awesome, Amanda. One of the things that I did when, because not being enough is one of my issues too, but I put little post-its around my house where I see them where it says, I am enough. And so that might be a little practice that you, just a suggestion, because it really helps me. And it's been probably 9 months, and some of them are still hanging around. And it's just kind of nice to go into the kitchen and I am enough. So thanks. I mean, that's kind of a little off the topic, but I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you, Penny.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you, Amanda, for sharing. It makes me feel like, oh, I didn't plan enough to get my stuff together.
You are enough, Drusilla.
Thank you, Amanda.
You do enough, Drusilla.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't difficult for me to come up with my word for the year, which is going to help to guide my intention. My word for the year is love, of course. If anyone watched the last episode when we had our tarot card reader on, then they will understand why my word of the year is love. I am embarking upon a new project this year that's going to be all about bringing love and connection to the world. So I guess that means that I would need to set the example, right? So how I intend to do that is to practice leading with my heart. And in order to do that, I first need to ensure that my heart is pure, right? That I go through purifying my heart. I have already started fasting, and that always helps me with clarity and guidance. And I always feel like I am walking and breathing and feeling the guidance of the universe when I can fast and clear out um, my body of toxins and things like that. Um, so leading with my heart and definitely in my personal relationships, but also in business. And I know I've talked about this a lot, that I always enjoy being with people in my circles until it's time to talk business. And I don't know what that's about, but I think 2026 needs to be the year that I get over whatever that obstacle, whatever that hurdle is that makes me feel like people are after each other, and it just makes me feel so uncomfortable. It means that, there's something within me that feels either competitive or inadequate or something. So, um, definitely want to lead from my heart in the business aspect of things as well. Um, and then, of course, spiritually or emotionally, because I know a lot of times if I'm in a relationship, let's say with uh, friends of mine, sometimes I feel a little challenged in leading with my heart in those aspects too, of dealing with uncomfortable situations with people. For example, if maybe I'm thinking that they gossip more than I would like to. Okay, so how do I address that in a loving way, and leading with my heart and dealing with that situation? So I think those three areas are the areas that I feel like I would need to focus on. And old patterns. So I know my ego will try to pull me into fear instead of love. And anytime that I am not, leading from my heart, it's simply that I am, acting out of fear. And I love that these two things are so clear, so opposite, and therefore they are so clear to me. And so it should be as simple as, if I don't feel that I'm, operating out of my loving heart, then I ask myself, what am I, what is it that's causing me fear? Is it that I'm unsure of myself? Is it that I think I'm, unlovable? That people are not going to like me if I, speak my mind, or if I'm, you know, being bold and, being courageous and things of that nature. So, which, as a little girl, I can clearly see that I was kind of herded into being a quiet, sweet little girl so people will like me, right? And so just trying to clear up all of that, and I will do that. My plan is to do that by praying more and journaling more. Those two things, this past year, I found to be tried and true for me, that always get me back grounded.
Mhm.
So, those are definitely two things that I will focus on for this year. And my courageous action is, again, to just be bold and live out loud and live authentically no matter what. And I think if I do the things that I intend, leading from my heart, and I pray and journal, then I think as a result of that, I will automatically, or hopefully prayerfully, be as authentic and as bold as I need to be, and to show up as my true self. I
Lovely.
think that's it.
Yeah, mic
Mhm.
drop.
No? Any questions? You always have such great questions for me, so.
I would say that you have been embodying a lot of this, like since I've known you, and you've grown and grown and grown into it. How would you how would you magnify it even just a little more?
That's a good question, because I do feel like last year I didn't feel as bold as I did maybe the year before, right? And I think that was only because I had different goals, different projects. Um, but I think in order to do that, I I think being comfortable in my personal relationship, my intimate relationship, and allowing that to be my foundation of comfort is going to help me. Because I feel like in the past, because there was so much anxiety around my marriage, that though I could show up boldly there, there were parts of me that I had to reserve because a part of me, even being in the face of things, where, well, you still have this going on over here, so you can't be too bold, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like fragmenting, compartmentalizing yourself. So I
Right.
think just fully embracing, knowing that I am wholly lovable in all aspects of who I am, no matter what, is going to help me to be even bolder than I've ever been before.
Awesome.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Um, thank you, Drusilla. Okay, I guess I will go. Um, so I was writing and meditating, and I just kept having this thing come through my mind. Of course, meditating was that saying, just fuck around and find out. And but in my head, it was just surrender and find out. And it has a little mischievousness to it, like just just try this on. Just really surrender and find out what's going to happen. And I swear I've tried to deviate from that, and I just keep coming back to it because it does, for me, it's a little playful, a little serious, and like literally focusing on surrender and not even trying to plan what that's going to mean, how that's going to show up. So, literally sitting in the present with surrender. And so, that is what I'm going to practice. I'm going to practice every time I want to get on and like the internet and try to solve the problem or try to work ahead and say I'm surrendering, but not really. I'm still grabbing on some of that control. I'm really going to practice letting that go and just
Mm.
surrendering and finding out. Um, and I feel like last year I really worked through a lot of fear, um, and made some courageous actions that has given me confidence to keep being courageous. And so because the world didn't stop. I didn't die, my children didn't die, we didn't go bankrupt, all the stuff that you worry about or that I worry about. And so I think I have the courage this year. I know I have the courage this year to literally surrender and not worry about what's going to happen. So that's what I'm going to practice. And thankfully, I have the support of everyone here. And the second is my ego will try to pull me into fear. And um, also, it will pull me into what we've talked about, like the second arrow. Like, I'm going to surrender. And the second arrow would be, yeah, but what if you lose all your money and you have no money and no home to go back to? And what if, you don't really have a job? All those things. Um, I will, that's my ego pulling me back. And so I will continue to practice um, what I preach for sure. Um, Accepting, slowing down. I've also really worked this year on like calming my nervous system. And before I just kind of thought, oh yeah, it's just kind of trendy, it's out there, and I'm gonna try this. But now I'm seeing how much I've grown because I've been able to calm down and how much like it's almost like things have sunk in deeper because I haven't been full of anxiety about stuff. So, um, I feel like I have a felt experience of that. And so I'm going to continue to do more of that and continue to because that also pulls me out of fear very fast. So that and journal and meditate like I do already. And then my courageous action would be to, I really want to, I don't think teach, but I want to um, talk more about my beliefs and what I feel is important to me and the realizations that I'm having. And sometimes I keep them like to myself. So I would like to do more of that. I'd like to talk more about how I feel like I've healed myself. And um, I love Taoism. I love stillness. I love meditating. It has absolutely changed me on a cellular level, and I want to share that and not feel like, yeah, but I don't have all the answers, so I can't share it. But just stay really present with that and surrender to that and surrender and find out. So that's my 2026.
Melissa, I just want to reflect that I can tell that your nervous system is more regulated. Like you are a different person than you were at the beginning of last year. Like I just, and I know that you had a lot going on with planning the move and what you were going to do about the house and the business and the kids and the where you're going to live and it was a lot going on, but you did have some anxiety and fears and stuff and you just now you're still living in the unknown but with so much peace and grace and yeah, so I can definitely see the results of the work that you've been doing. Do you want to share any of the tools and practices around regulating your nervous system that you've been working with or
Sure. I can share a couple. I do like I do the physical things like pull my ears and like do the physical trying to calm my nervous system down. And meditating, I meditate like at least an hour a day, and it really helps me. I journal about what's in my head that would knock my nervous system out of whack. So getting that stuff out of my head has really helped. And it's helped me to see that these things that are happening in my life, I've decided that they were problems. And so then once my mind decided that was a problem, it's just happening, right? But I said, oh, this is a problem for me. So then from that comes all this anxiety around it being a problem for me. So I've tried to get to like the root of the problem through writing, meditating, and I also now um, I'm taking a lot of stillness breaks to just stop and just stop my body, stop my mind, breathe deeper, that kind of thing. So I love Amanda what you were sharing because there's still physical human a physical human component to spirituality, and um, so yes, I use physical things to help me.
Those are all really
Beautiful. I
powerful.
love it.
Hmm.
Yep. And I also want to end with I am probably in the most unstable time I've ever been in my life. No home, no car, um, no country, no plan after uh, like a month from now. And I am totally cool with it. Like it is okay. And I'm not freaking out. And it's kind of fun. So these things have really helped me get to a point, again, practice. Like I've practiced in the little things. So now when things are bigger, uh, I'm in a space where I can keep my peace. And that's what I'm going to keep practicing.
Hmm. Beautiful.
Hmm.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Amanda, for going first today. Um, okay, I guess I'll jump in. Okay, so intention, how our ego is going to try to derail us, and then practice courageous action. Okay, so funny that you were talking about surrender, Melissa, because my word for the year is surrender. I don't know if you said that's your word of the year, but it's one of your intentions. And it came up for me um, maybe a few days ago, a week ago, I'm not sure. But just having this sense of like, I'm trying. Okay, so you know how uh, like a workout coach will tell you that you cannot just focus on one muscle group to the exclusion of the other muscle groups. I feel like sometimes like my spiritual practices are focusing on certain muscle groups like clarity, abundance, purpose, whatever. But the real truth of it all is that would like to get to the place where none of what is going on in the physical world matters to me. The only thing that matters to me is devotion and surrender to God. And like to me, that is full bodied knowing and trusting the truths that all of these spiritual teachings are telling us. It's not just spewing them. And so that's the space that I'd like to get to. But then the human part of me has to figure out, well, how do I get there? And it seems like it's through these isolated muscle focuses. Like, well, let me work on abundance. Let me work on clarity. So anyway, I'd like to this year get to the space of putting all of that aside and just really leaning into trusting and knowing that God has my best interests at heart. And so if I can truly, fully just surrender, and when I think of surrender, I think about the way that Paramahansa Yogananda led his life, an autobiography of a yogi. I think about the way Jesus led his like. I would like to be so singularly focused on God that none of the other stuff matters to me. And I know that it's all also going to work out perfectly. You know what I'm saying? But then the logic brain tries to get involved and figure out how to do that. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get to surrender, but it's just that's my word for the year. And I remember feeling that sense of devotion and surrender when I was younger, when I was like a child, or even like a teen. For me, it always comes back to like reapproaching that childlike sense of just openness and innocence and all of that. So anyway, long-winded start, but another thing that came up, and I shared this earlier when we were sharing our lessons, is that when I was praying and journaling a few days ago, and I was feeling pretty close to a state of surrender, I remember saying to God that this year I want to shed all of the unshed tears that have been stored in my body my whole life. Because I've had this story that I'm not good at crying. Like, I've been to so many funerals in my life and I don't cry at funerals. I might shed a tear at like a sappy little commercial about an ASPCA commercial or something like that. But like when the big shit happens and stuff like that, I have a hard time processing those emotions and letting the tears flow. So that maybe is a part of my surrender and a part of my practice. Okay, let me get back on track. So this year I'm practicing full-bodied, like on your knees, on your back, whatever, surrender to God, and no more of the trying to figure things out and, well, this practice isn't working for me, let me try this practice, or so that's my practice. And then the ego is going, oh, and also like a really tangible connection, like intimate relationship with God and with spirit is another piece of it. And I think that will go hand in hand with the surrender. So like, I want to feel like I'm in constant communication with, connection with, communion with God, Holy Spirit, my angels, not just in an intellectual sense. Like, I know that support is all around me, but I don't sense it. I don't feel it. I don't connect with them. Like, I want to shift that. I want to have a shift around that where I like feel like noticeably held and supported and like my dearest friends. They're who I call on. You know what I'm saying? Sounds cheesy, but I felt that way when I was a child and a teenager. And like, so again, it goes back to tapping back into that state. Sorry if I'm talking in circles, but this is just the way that my brain processes. So the ego is going to try to pull me into distraction and busyness. That's my age-old problem. Also diffusion. Like, as a manifesting generator, I have 50 different tabs open in my brain at all times. And so that's how I get pulled off track or off focus, I guess. So what I will do is I'd like to revisit my sacred contract that I wrote years ago and either just use the same one or write a new one this year and just repeat my sacred contract every single day as like a prayer, an affirmation. I'd like to pause every time I pick up my phone to check messages or check social media or check the weather. I'd like to just take a pause before I open it and, take 15, 20 seconds to just center, partner up. And sometimes it may even say like, you don't need to do this right now. Or sometimes it's like, I may still continue with whatever I was going to do, but just pausing. You mentioned pauses, Melissa, just more pauses in my day, instead of just mindlessly going through things. And my courageous action this year, my goal is to follow the flow of like joy and things that make me feel excited, and to trust that is guidance, and to shift away from people, places, and things that generate stress or like feel like they're throwing me off my path in a way. I don't know. That feels kind of like externalizing and like projecting. So I'm not sure how to say that in a clearer way, but I think surrender will reveal that to me. So that's my long-winded, very kind of roundabout share.
You muted,
I
Penny.
am muted, yes, because I sneezed. Oh, that's powerful, Morgan, what you shared. Really powerful. Yeah. Well, I'm last. This is Penny. It is so funny that we are all so similar because my word for 2026 is also surrender. And it really came to me. I think when we were finishing up the lessons for 2025, um, that, some of you have also said this, but um, I think it's because I've been such a controller that I'm realizing that it really doesn't work. And it's causing a lot of havoc in my life at times. And so, yeah, surrendering to life, to just letting it unfold and knowing that it's so funny. I think that I'm in charge and I'm not. And so I think the lessons helped me realize that. Um, so I'm going to surrender to my higher self's guidance. I think that's pretty much what Melissa and Morgan are saying too. It's what Amanda and Drusilla are saying too. Um, so that is my intention, is to surrender. Yeah, and to surrender to my compassion too. Um, I for myself and for others, but I find, my ego's gonna take me off the path by beating me up. Man, oh man, I was in my meditation this morning preparing for this episode, and I was thinking about what I was going to say, and my ego just went off on me. And so that also led me to what I'm going to do when that happens. And I just started saying, hold it. That is not true. Uh, Penny, why, you don't have to do that to yourself anymore. You don't have to hurt yourself. You don't have to be mean to yourself anymore. You don't have to judge yourself. You don't have to, um, you know, yeah, I don't have to do any of that any longer. And so my way that I'm going to interrupt that is I have some power statements, I have some affirmations. Um, I am enough. I don't have to prove myself. I need do nothing is one of my favorite lessons in the course. Um, and so that's really what I want to do is I really want to get in the flow with the universe and stop thinking that I know what's the best thing here that should be going on, especially when it's difficult. And I'm just going to start asking myself, like, show me the way. I wrote this down from lesson 364. Show me the way. I'm dedicating my life to love. Show me how to find my way in this difficult time, in this difficult world. And so I just need to have these post-its around me, posted in my mind, so that I can that will help me to be open to new opportunities, new conversations, new inspirations, because I really want to tap into my creativity this year too, because I think I've been so busy that yeah, so one of the things that my courageous act, and I've been working on this since last year, and I'm starting to make some progress, is I'm going to stop doing so much. I'm going to I'm going to do radical self-care of Penny. I'm going to take things off my plate, and I'm going to say no. It's no 2026. It's not no November, right? That's really what I'm finding, that I need to slow down. I've been going so fast. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do to keep myself woken up is to really, do all the practices that I've been doing, prayer, meditation, journaling, everything that everybody's talked about here. There's nothing new. It's just what resonates with me and it works for me. And so, yeah, interrupt those old negative patterns, that self-talk that is just so critical and remind myself the truth of who I am. Yeah. And all of us. I mean, it's really been, yeah, we are all amazing human beings. Everybody that's listening to this, everybody in the world, no matter what they're doing. Yeah, we all deserve love and we are loved and we are lovable and we are cared for and protected. And that's the bottom line. So that's what I've got.
Love it.
Mhm.
How about do less in 2026? Do less in 2026.
I like it,
Make it
Melissa.
work.
I
Make it
love
work.
it. Yeah, I love it. That's
Uh,
great. Yeah, because I always
and
think I
I,
have to do more, and I
yeah,
don't. Yeah,
and you brought it right back to Amanda, the no judging,
acceptance. Yeah,
not not judging yourself for being human,
yeah,
being right where you are.
yeah, and be okay with it, right where it is. This,
Yeah.
this is, it's all been pre-designed. I just need to take the oars out of the water and go with the flow.
Mhm.
I think your goal for 2026, Penny, just shows how much growth and how far you've come, like in healing a lot of those old wounds from childhood and from your
Hmm.
past that, you know, you're willing to let some of that go.
Yeah. Thank you, Morgan. Yeah. So, how are we going to wrap this episode up? Any final comments from anyone?
Well,
Um,
maybe we can just summarize again the practice in case anybody wants to look at this stuff for themselves, figure
Sure.
out for their new year.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll summarize. Um, Question number one. What do I want to practice, not achieve this year? Number two, what usually knocks me off my intention and what's my reset? Like my ego will try to pull me into blank, so I will blank. Number three, what would courage have me do? And if you want to answer those things and get some support on that, you can write it into us. We
yeah.
would love to hear that.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mhm.
And then I thought the only post-it, I was doing a ton of different things on post-its, and I thought, the only thing I'm going to do is just share our intentions for this year. So Amanda's acceptance, Drusilla's love, Melissa, Morgan, and Penny are all about surrender. And I'm trying to figure out if there is a like this is what it is, alls. I guess we're all in.
We all in.
We all sin.
We
We
all
all
in.
can.
I love it.
Yeah, that's all I could come up with that I thought was worth sharing. So before we go, choose your own lemon lab experiment. We kind of called this a lemon lab experiment.
Yeah.
Choose your one intention, your one sabotage pattern, your one tiny reset. And if you do nothing else, just do that. That's it. That's all you have to do. We don't have to put so much pressure on ourselves to do more, do more, do more. We don't have to do more. We we do less in
We
2026.
list in 26.
So thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, your transformation is our greatest joy, and we can't wait to connect with you again real soon. Have a blessed and beautiful rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.